So, why the PC Carbine? Because it's a direct blowback, and the way they designed it is pretty freaking neat. This is absolutely not a military weapon. To take this gun down to clean all the internal components would probably take you like 20-30 minutes. It involves Allen heads. It's got a lot of things that make it not desirable as a military weapon. But one thing I do like about it is with a stronger recoil spring in here and a better metal extractor. I mean, this is an affordable option for a reason. So they've definitely cheaped out on some parts. A lot of the trigger components on the inside are plastic. Ruger's kind of always been a pot metal company. They do castings. The way they do their castings, it's very strong. If you look at the revolvers, all the revolver frames are cast metal. Slides are cast metal. So they're always been a cheap company. So their extractor has had problems, and I don't know if it's still a thing on the newer extractors, but I got a tool steel extractor from Tandem Cross, and bolt head pins. What else do we get? Recoil spring. Because this is a direct blowback, having a couple recoil springs I think is a great idea for the longevity of the platform. I like to have it for a really long time. The Tandem Cross recoil springs are only $10, so they're not like break the bank. So I'm probably going to pick up more of those for the future. But cool thing about the blowback system in the PC Carbine is that it's actually, Ruger calls it their dead blow blowback. So it's got a big piece of tungsten in it, and the tungsten has a little bit of free movement. And so the idea is that every time it slams home or slams back, there's a little extra delay because of the weight and the little bit of movement that the piece of tungsten has. And I think this gun is the type of gun, because of how heavily built it is on the inside, that you just need to put oil in this thing. Like cleaning it, use a good CLP and just soak the crap out of this thing, and you pretty much never have to clean it. There's no amount of fouling and that I could imagine taking this. It's a hammer fired weapon. You can fire any 9mm in here, and it makes just about every 9mm load super powerful because of the 16-inch barrel. TN Outdoors 9 was getting 357 Magnum energy off of a lot of the Plus P loads. So, and then the really light stuff like the Liberty Civil Defense, it's moving like 2,500 feet per second out of this thing. Like, it's smoking. And another cool thing is if you're running trash ammo, you got a consistent diet of steel case or whatever you're running, and you get a stovepipe, or not a stovepipe, you get a squib load in this thing, and it's as easy as locking it back, twisting. You can literally get straight to whatever's in there. So instead of like peeking down the chamber, you can literally just take the barrel off and you can see if something's in there. Another neat thing that I think more people should do as 40 cal gets more popular and 357 SIG gets more popular, is to change the caliber on the PC Carbine. New barrel. That's it. You can't do it with the 9mm model. I think this should be a rolling change because of the diameter of the shell for 40 and 357 SIG. But you just need to get a 40 PC Carbine, and they do have those, and you would have the 40 cal bolt, and then you could literally just swap the barrel out. So that's why this was built like this. A lot of people didn't quite understand why they put this here and no provision for a front sight up here. A lot of people confuse this with this being used for the front sight and then the back Picatinny for the rear sight. This is so you can mount an optic to this thing and just put it away. Put it back on, it's zeroed and everything. So I've seen little to no shift. What's really cool is you can tighten it right here. So it's got a little clicky click here. And the neat thing about me painting it is that it's marked to where it already has the best lockup. But if you're having like a little bit of head spacing slack, you can adjust it. So how cool is that? It's a super robust locking system. Of course, when you're making a video, that's when you can't get it on. There we go. But yeah, and that's because the headspace is tight on here too. That's why the PC Carbine. There's a ton of other 9mm. I mean, there's hella. If you look into like the Banshee and the Street Bog, those are really nice. But they're all running like the same weight, around 8.5, 9 pounds. You know. Yeah, takes Glock mags. Comes with the Glock magwell and the Ruger Security magwell. But because this thing is so popular, and it wasn't just banned, every other semi-auto was banned and considered an assault weapon. And there was like a few of things that the Canadian government didn't really look into, and this was one of them. So this was like called by the community Canada's AR. So because of that, for such a long period of time, there's a gang of different accessories and different frames. This is all plastic. So there's a ton of different companies out there that make receivers, or not receivers, chassis, because the serialized number is all in here. So you literally just pop the top off, that's your whole gun. There's a ton of different chassis, ton of different magwells. I've seen just about every double stack you can imagine. There's even a 2011 magwell, 2011 Walther PDP, Beretta 92, Beretta APX, SIG P320, SIG P365 I've seen. There's the Taurus magwells, and then Glock, but yeah, it's kind of like a, not do-all, but just a really well set up weapon for if crap really does hit the fan. You know, if you're not going 5.56, you're going 9mm. This is awesome. You can machine gun this thing in one area and it barely moves. So for me, this would be my go-to end of the world weapon. You literally just throw oil on it and feed it, and it works great. All right, that's all I had to say.